half-hour hangout. So grab a cup of coffee, take a seat, and how's your mother? Ooh, that one's a little bitter. I think that one's been sitting in the mug. That one's been sitting in the mug for a good morning. But hey, how are you? Good morning. Good happy Friday morning. I don't know if you've ever done the exercise called Good Mornings, but that exists. What is it? I'm so glad you asked. A good morning is the easiest way to do it is you take a broomstick. If you have a barbell sitting around your house, then congratulations, you're a meathead. If you have a barbell sitting around, you put a barbell on your back, and then you, without bending your knees, sort of bend forward, hinge at the waist, bend over like you're taking a bow. Then you stand back up. That's called a good morning. Ugh. What a great name. Guy who makes up exercise names. Certainly not as good as your past work, such as the push-up, the star jump. That's a personal favorite of mine. You squat down, you touch your little toesies, and then you jump in the air and you make a star. And it sounds ridiculous and stupid and hilariously easy until you're on your 17th star jump and you want to puke. So you do, like I used to. The air squat, the body weight squat. That's a pet peeve of mine. I hate it. I hate it when people call it a body weight squat because it's just a squat, dude. And really, it's not even a squat. You're just sort of getting up off your fucking ass. You know what I mean? It's called a stand up. That's what I'd call it. It's called a toilet. It's called a toilet. Bathroom trip is over. On the opposite side, the most badass sounding works. The Turkish get up, very cool. Sounds like a type of tea. Actually, sounds like tea and sounds like a tea and biscuit situation. That's what I hear when I get a Turkish get up. Let's do 10 Turkish get ups. Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling pretty trim. Let's do 12. The burpee, I always thought was really dumb. I have no idea where that came from, but it doesn't make you burp and it doesn't make you pee. So I don't know where the hell it came from. But those are the worst. Thrusters are, in my opinion, the worst exercise that exists. And it's not exactly what I would call it. I would call a thruster. A thruster seems more of it doesn't seem like a vertical exercise. And a thruster is you take a barbell, you hold it under your chin. It's tough if you have a beard. You squat down, you stand up, you body weight air squat, you barbell squat the barbell, and then you push it straight up in the air. That's called a thruster, and they are absolutely brutal. If anyone ever says, let's just do a couple of rounds of thrusters, get ready to puke, because you're going to puke. But in my heart of hearts, I wouldn't have called it the thruster. If I'm standing, the thruster would be more of a horizontal front and back type of movement than a straight up and down. Although, to each his own. And however you want to do your thrusters, you should be able to do your thrusters. And I'm sure there's a Rule 34. You know what I mean? There's something for everybody. Pull up makes sense. You're pulling yourself up. Fly doesn't make sense, I guess. Oh, I guess you're flying, but you're on your back, so. Overhead press. Did you know that in some countries they call a push-up a press-up? What a bunch of weirdos, huh? And then, of course, there's the marathon, which is named after the Greek guy, Pablo Marathon. Yeah, I remember I remember signing up for a CrossFit class once, and the guy goes, this exercise is this workout's easy. It's only 8 minutes. And I was like, 8 minutes can be a long time depending on what you're doing. And he goes, oh, so And I was like, yeah, baby. You bet your balls I know. I've been doing. We interviewed this guy for the other podcast, the Total Fit Heads Fitness podcast. We did a TRX guy. He was fucking awesome. So much fun. Super cool guy. And he was like, "Yeah, I got sick of going to the gym. I got sick of going to my job, so I grabbed a TRX and a backpack, and I went to South America." And I'm like, "Well, damn. I guess that's one way of doing it." That is pretty convenient. I went on a school trip to Ecuador. I'm all over the place right now. Maybe I should lay off this popping off coffee. I went on a school trip to Ecuador. Do you know how you know where Ecuador is? I'll give you a hint. It's right on the equator. And we went to, it was in high school. It was like an exchange program. I was an exchange student. Good Lord. And we were in Quito, which is the capital of Ecuador. And we're playing soccer, or as they call it, football. And I was playing football with some Ecuadorian South American, which let's be fair, I liked soccer a lot. It was probably my favorite sport for a long time. But was I any good at it? No. I was the best in my grade school. But once we hit that 7, 8, 9th grade, good old Max's trajectory sort of fell off a cliff a little bit. So anyway, I did like soccer. So we're playing soccer in Ecuador with a bunch of Ecuadorian school children. And this kid comes out, I get the ball, and this kid comes at me, and I go, I deke him left, I deke him right, and I deke him left again, triple deke. And I deke him out of his sneakers, and I beat a guy 1-on-1 essentially, and the whole school, the whole field, all the kids started laughing, and they started calling me ability. Look, it's ability. They literally called me ability. Oh, what a burn. God, that was funny. I forgot about that until right now. Ability. That Ecuador trip was insane. It was an exchange program, so we went to a Spanish high school, or a Spanish speaking Ecuadorian high school. And did I know any Spanish? No. Did all the kids prefer to speak English anyway? Yes. The coolest part was, obviously the kids were really cool. One of the coolest parts was we actually got to spend about a week in the rainforest, which was bonkers crazy. We took a bus, a really, really long bus ride, and then we took a canoe ride, a really long canoe ride. That was really scary. Into just down a river somewhere, and suddenly we're in the thick of it. And then finally we're like, all right, we're here, and it's just like a bunch of cabins it looked like tree houses. I totally forgot about this until right now. It's crazy. And yeah, we just lived it was like a vacation, I guess. We were there for 4 or 5 days, and I saw huge snakes, huge spiders. We saw some of the biggest trees I ever seen, some of the biggest leaves on trees. I know that isn't probably not as sexy as seeing a huge spider or whatever, but the leaf was bigger. It was like a tarp. And I'm like, that's growing out of that tree? Are you sure? There's got to be HGH in here somewhere. HGH stands for human growth hormone, so probably not HGH. Probably just some creatine, a lot of whey protein that these plants are taking. PGH, plant growth hormone. PGH? The PGH tour. You know how it goes. The guy who... There were people who ran the, I don't even know what you call it, the campsite or whatever, the Amazon campsite. There were people who ran it, and then there was the local jungle expert. So in the movie Deep Blue Sea, the classic about the smart sharks. There's the scientists who run the lab, and then there's the shark expert who knows how to deal with sharks. It's like in Jurassic Park. Maybe that's a little bit easier for you if you're not quite as cultured as I am, that you immediately think of Deep Blue Sea as your first human animal interaction movie. So in Jurassic Park, do you remember there's like all the businessmen, the guy with the cane, and then there's the computer techno nerds, the guy and the science nerds, the guys who cloned and made the actual dinosaurs. And then there's that one guy with the hat. Well, there's the archaeologists, paleontologists, whatever the hell they are. The dinosaur people that they fly in on the. They fly in on the helicopter. Not those guys. There's that guy with the hat who's like hunting the velociraptors. I'm talking about first Jurassic Park, 1996, whatever the hell it is. The guy with the hat who's hunting the velociraptors. Remember when he puts the hat down and then he points a gun at it and then the fucking velociraptor face comes out here and he goes, "Clever girl." And then he gets eaten to death. That guy. That guy's like the dinosaur expert. Like Star-Lord in the new Jurassic Park ones. Chris Pratt in the new Jurassic Park ones. He's the guy who like knows how to. He's salt of the earth, you know. He's just a humble wrangler who, you know, uses common sense and is way smarter than all these science nerds, techno nerds. Anyway, there was a guy like that. Literally, maybe those are all based on true stories, and I'm just too like dense to realize it. There's a guy like that in the Amazonian campsite cabin thing, wherever the hell we were staying. Cool guy. Not a ton of English, so it was, when we talked to him, it was a lot of like pointing, like me, sleep type stuff, you know. But he was a cool guy, and he took us blow dart hunting, or he showed us his blow dart. He's like, "You want to see something cool?" We're like, "Yeah." Or we're in the middle of the rainforest, my dude. We want to see everything cool. Pulls out this tube. It looks like a broomstick, but it's a hollow, like a bamboo. I don't know what it is. It looked like a big bamboo shoot, whatever it is. And then he takes like a long ass needle looking thing with a little bit of cotton or wax or whatever on the back of it. It looks like a cotton. It looks like a Q-tip, but there's only cotton on one side. Instead of cotton, it's wax. He fucking shoves it in the thing like this. He holds the thing like it's a rifle, like it's a trumpet. And then he just like, and he puts a melon on the like a melon on the stool or on a table like 20 feet away or whatever. He goes, and this thing goes right in the melon. Thunk. Right in the melon like that. I was like, that was cool. Is this a movie? Are you the coolest guy I've ever met? And so we all took turns trying to none of us could do it, obviously. And then he does another one and it goes and the first one's here and the second one goes like literally touching the first one. And these are needle thick, like longish 12 13 inch needles, like porcupine needles. And the first one was touching the second one, and we were like, okay, now you're hustling us. This is a magic trick. Like this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay, that was cool. Well, anyway, what do you actually do with these? And he goes, bird. And I was like, oh, birds. You like train them to retrieve the needles or whatever? And he was like, no, eat bird. And then I figured out later that he uses them to hunt birds. Oh my God. He was like, yeah, I hunt birds with these things. You like chump city kid. I'm like, damn, can you clear up all these pigeons near my place? Ability. Yeah, so that was cool. he had a tarantula, like a pet tarantula, and a pet huge snake. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was an anaconda because I get a lot of my science from documentaries like Jurassic Park, Deep Blue Sea, Anaconda, Anaconda 2, Starship Troopers. It felt like an anaconda for me. I mean, I was 14, 15 at the time, so obviously I'm slightly shorter than I am now, but I mean, this snake was enormous. And let me tell you, it was I don't normally have a tough time falling asleep. Not the easiest thing in the world falling asleep in your hammock in the middle of the goddamn rainforest. I think it was a rainforest. What else did we do? Oh, we went to see a shaman. Is that what it's called? I don't want to I don't want to be racially insensitive. Shaman is a religious practice. Is a person regarded as having access to an influence in the world of good and evil spirits, especially among some kinds of Northern Asia and North America. Typically, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I don't know if they have shamans in South America, but I don't know what else to call this guy. Because I don't want to sound racially insensitive, but he was a mystical. He was like Ecuador Doctor Strange, as far as I'm concerned. He brought he performed this ritual where this is okay. Calm down. Nothing crazy happened. I didn't nobody ate my leg or whatever. Nobody pulled my heart out of my chest. Nobody did anything weird. But he was like, "Do you want me to bless you?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously, sir." And so he sits us all in a circle, and he makes like a big fire. It's a real smoky fire. And he takes one of those big leaves, and he starts blowing the smoke like right into each one of our faces, one by one, like boom, 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 like that. And he starts chanting something. And then I'm like, oh, this is sick. I guess I'm getting blessed right now. And then, and then he pulls out like what looked like a blunt. I'm sure it wasn't a blunt. I don't think it was weed. I don't even think it was tobacco. I think it was just some sort of smoke, something or other. But he took a drag as he's like, whoom, 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 whoom. And I'm just getting like all this smoke in my face. And I'm like, I feel great. And I remember that was when we all got very, very blessed by the rainforest shaman. That was awesome. The only other thing we really did that was really fun was we took a trip to the actual equator. And the equator is cool when there's like big monuments or whatever. But the thing about the equator is it actually goes a long way around. In fact, I think it goes all the way around the Earth. So in some places there's like big cool monuments and like a big not a wall, a monument, like stuff you can climb, and there's all these globes everywhere, and they're like, this is you, and this is 180 degrees on the opposite side of the planet, and blah 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 blah. And this is a mini replica of where all the countries are in retrospect or in relation to where you are now, and blah 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 blah. And then sometimes you're just crossing the street and there's just like a little like a shoebox size monument that says equator. And you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Cool. There's the equator. I love that it's called Ecuador. I really do. I know that sounds stupid, but I really, really love that. Okay. What I wanted to... big news for old Max. I deleted 25,000 emails out of my inbox. Let me say again. 25,000 emails gone out of the old inbox. Now, I admittedly was one of those people that was walking around with 40 or 50,000 emails in my inbox. No big deal. No mess. No harm, no foul. It gave me a lot of anxiety that I didn't realize. How did I delete 25,000 emails? Great question. I actually sat down and unsubscribed and deleted all of all those stupid newsletter emails that you get, and you're like, what is this? What is it? How many things? Like, no, I don't want to read more about like a new heated heated outdoor hot tub. And I would just delete one or forget about it or go to the next one. When I went back and looked at how many times these newsletters are emailing me per day, it was like 3 times a day, trying to get me to buy this stupid junk that they're trying to shoot, that they're trying to sell. And I'm like, it made me really mad because I was like, man, I have no idea how much you were annoying me and how much this was stressing me out. Now, let me see. I'm sitting at about 8,000. Not bad, And that stuff, it's manageable. I organize my inbox and like priority, like you need to follow up, waiting for a response, everything, all this other crap. Like I feel a lot better. It made me feel, I sort of did it on a whim. And it definitely made me feel a lot more put together. I feel like because I would go back and like 15 or 20 emails down, I'd be like, oh, that was one I really wanted to respond to. But it got drowned out in this sea of like, buy this new, we're releasing a new filter for this thing, or like, we're new deal on trips to Vegas, or check it out, cheap flights, blah, blah, blah. Or guess what? Any steakhouse you've ever been to that you signed into the Wi-Fi, that you had to give your email to sign into the Wi-Fi. I'm getting emails from like steakhouses in St. Louis. You know what I mean? Or like bakeries in New York, or, whatever. Like I got one from, the most I got was like 500 emails from Pete's Coffee. That sucked. There was one from a restaurant in Tokyo. And they're like, hey, if you want to pop on over, we're doing happy hour. And I'm like, you know what, Tokyo? I would like to pop over. But we're going to put that in the old not yet pile. In the old we'll see about travel. Sounds like I'm boot to go to Canada. I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Canada. Hard to pick what favorite. That's a tough one. I've also been to Ecuador. I feel like this is a real braggy episode of the MaxBang. We're talking about my favorite places to travel. I'm lucky I've traveled quite a bit, one way or the other. I had some family, international family. I've had friends internationally. I've had schooling internationally, China, Austria. I had other friends who studied abroad, and so I just like traveled with them and like slept on their couch or whatever. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Make sure you go ahead and thumbs up this video and subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments below where your favorite place to travel you've ever been, if you have ever been to a place that you loved, and write in the comments where you would like to go to travel. I'll see if I can give you guys some travel recommendations. I liked Venice a lot, both California and Italy. I really liked Rome and Florence. Actually, Italy was awesome. Pisa sucked. Don't go to Pisa. Pisa, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I'm not sure if you're familiar. It's that big tower that leans. You'd think they do a lot of body weight air squats there. Pisa, you get there, and it's just that leaning tower, and it's 1 million people taking photos like this. What? Careful. Careful. Oh, my God. It's going to follow me. This is a perspective trick you'll never get. It's not cool. After that, though, not much going on. Not a ton going on. Rome, it's huge. It's like as big as New York. The coolest place I've ever been, I think, is probably the Vatican in New York. It was beautiful. It was art. I'm not even religious. Not a big God guy, and I loved it. There's museums there forever. There's shopping, whatever. There's restaurants forever. There's cool nature stuff. There's cool city stuff. There's so much cool stuff to do. Florence is similar. It's way smaller, but and the cool thing about walking around the city is like it's a brand new city, all this modern shit, and then you turn the corner and like, oh, there's a church or a Duomo or whatever that's been there for 500 years. You're like, cool. I think I'll. That's a beautiful historic landmark. I think I'll drink a beer outside of it. Okay, so I didn't really mean to come off as super braggy that I've traveled everywhere. But if it makes you feel any better, in the past year I've traveled from my bed to my living room, and that's fucking it. Took the dog on a million walks. I suppose that's sort of a bigger thing. But next year we're gearing up. Next year we're really gonna get her going. I'm talking travel. I'm talking parties. I'm talking kissing everybody. I'm talking sharing lollipops. I'm talking sneezing all the time. Just pepper, pepper. Maybe that's too optimistic of me. But if everyone's getting this vaccine and everything's opening up, that might be the end of this crappy year. God, imagine that. We're almost out. We're almost out of the we're almost out of hell. It's like Winston Churchill always said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Why did he say that? I don't know. Did he say that? I don't know. I remember it was on a... How did I know that quote? I know how I know that quote. It's because it was on a birthday card that someone gave to me. That's weird. Did not remember that. Yeah, somebody gave me a birthday card, and on the front of it, it said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Winston Churchill. And I taped it on my wall. Shit, can you see this? Okay, good. I got some sensitive information taped on my wall. That's how you know it's sensitive, is I taped it to the wall. If you're going through hell, keep going. I've seen this statement attributed to Churchill 7 times. I've never seen any solid citations. Are these really the words? Blah, blah, blah. It's possible it was not actually words of Winston Churchill. At least not verifiable in any of the 50 million published words by and about him. That's tough. But is it tough? Does it matter who said it? Yeah, I think it kind of does, because you don't want to listen to some dumbass. You don't want to take advice from a dumbass. You want to take advice from a smarty pants. Although smart people can be dumb in certain ways, and dumb people can be fucking geniuses in certain other areas. So I wouldn't necessarily dismiss things offhand just because a dumb person said it, and I wouldn't necessarily tattoo it on your butt just because a smart person said it. If you're going through hell, keep going. I always thought it was a funny quote. Here's why. This is going to be like an English literary review. Why do you go through hell? If you're going through hell, keep going. I think the idea is, if you're going through hell, keep going, because you'll eventually make your way out. And if you just sit there and are miserable, you'll never get out of hell. Now, that's sort of that takes one very important. It's kind of important to notice that in that analysis, the idea of hell is that it ends, or that you can escape it, or that you can get out. My personal idea of hell was, I suppose, it was never ending, or if you go to hell, you're there forever, because by that logic, if you can get out of hell, I guess you can get kicked out of heaven, right? If you go to heaven, you don't want to leave heaven. I assume heaven's pretty cool. If you go into hell, I assume it's pretty bad, but I think part of what would make hell bad, hellish, would be that there's no escape. If there's an escape, hell doesn't really seem all that bad, doesn't it? It's like, Yeah, you're in hell, and the devil. You see Satan, and he's like, "Where? Yeah, delicious, a delicious soul. I can't wait for your punishment. What is your biggest fear? Snakes? Interesting. Well, you'll be hanging by your fingers over a pit of snakes, dangling for all eternity." And if you could just be like, "Oh, really? Well, what if I just I was on Ninja Warrior, which is also its own type of hell. Well, what if you just like "Toot, toot, 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 toot," and then you just jump out, and then you're like, "What is this door here marked exit? Can I use that?" And Satan's like, "No, no, no. That's French. Aussie. That means toilet. You don't want to go there. That's gross. You don't want to go there." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'll just. It says alarm will sound. I don't want to push it if an alarm's gonna sound. Should I? I'm just gonna do it." Oh, look at that. There's a staircase here. Oh, and a bunch of clouds, and a bunch of halos and wings and shit. A bunch of naked people. Is this heaven? Can I just go? I'm just gonna go. You know what? I'll catch. I'll be back for the snakes. Keep the snakes warm for me. Take it easy, Satan. And then Satan's like, "Why does this keep happening?" Anyway, what a great episode. We just cracked heaven and hell. Anyway, I hope you're having a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. If you have anything of utmost importance to ask me, leave it in the comments below. But other than that, keep banging.